Hello and welcome to another episode of the Jonesing for Sports podcast, the podcast where we document Travis's journey to make the Century Club and pop a shot. So hopefully we will get some updates there, but on the small chance that we don't, we're also going to talk about the Pistons in the NBA playoffs and also the upcoming NFL draft. So if that intrigues you, if you want to hear more, stick around because we're going to get into that right now. But first, I usually like to check in with Brando over here because he usually has some good old shower thoughts that he likes to run by us. Brand, you got anything for us to kind of stew on as we get our pod started today?
Yeah, I've got a controversial hot take I've been sitting on.
Good.
And got to be honest, it's probably going to put me in the crosshairs. So be nice, world. To you guys, my question, just to open up the topic, how do you view Easter? Is it underrated? Is it properly rated? Is it overrated? Discuss Easter thoughts.
So, as a Christian, underrated. As a
good way to get it
American,
started.
As an American holiday, probably rightfully rated. I had a good time, but I also just this year I learned that the Easter schedule every year is based on the moon, the lunar cycles. Didn't know that until this year, because I always find Easter starts in March Madness, and like, well, are we gonna be together on Easter for the Final Four? And this year it was way after March Madness. Like, why is that? The moon. So that's neat. That bumps it up a few points in my mind that it's a national holiday based on the moon. But I think it's rightfully rated.
Our brains work so differently. And that's what makes the podcast great. Go ahead, Code.
This is not a question that scores you many points with probably the people that we know and love. Yeah, it's probably properly rated as an American holiday. I feel like if you're just going in terms of festivities for us as Americans, it's probably B tier. I don't think it's going to rate quite the same as like 4th of July or Christmas, the way that people just go all out. But there's some good parts to it too. I mean, it's really fun now having a niece and watching her do the Easter egg hunt. You know, it's a part of the whole holiday that like I haven't got to enjoy for a long time. And then there's of course, the Christian aspects of it and fellowship and good food. So really strong holiday, but I feel like we could step our game up a little bit more as Americans. You look at how like Catholics in other countries celebrate Easter. They got pyrotechnics and massive parades and they're going crazy for Easter. Yeah. And maybe we should start doing that because it is a great holiday and absolutely a phenomenal reason to celebrate. Maybe we should give it a little bit more pomp and circumstance. So great holiday, but I think we could do better with it.
Cody, you brought up the Easter egg hunt and watching our niece, Brandon's daughter, really enjoy it. Mm-hmm. I would say we also enjoyed it. Yeah. When it was the big kids' turn, we pretty much had a full contact Easter egg hunt.
Well, you say we, you took it upon yourself to make it full contact.
No, you went after Dan first. I just joined in.
I didn't touch Dan. I just saw the eggs at the same time he did, and we both rushed towards them. And I may have said, "Whoa, look at those eggs over there," as I swooped in and grabbed the ones that were right in front of us. You stole eggs right from my basket. Those are two entirely different things. And that golden egg that you found will forever have an asterisk.
I didn't find the golden egg at that point. I found it on my own.
History won't see it that way.
No. Also, for the history books, I saw you and Dan go against each other. And so I said, if they're doing that, I did my Easter egg hunt with the eggs that were presented to me, which were right in Cody's basket, and he wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, no eggs were stolen at that point in time until I started to feel my basket get pretty noticeably lighter. So I'm just saying, I was close to winning, the competition for most eggs. If I didn't have to spend some time recouping what I already lost, who knows what might have happened.
All right, I gave the eggs back too, so they didn't even count to mine.
Yeah, and wonder how much time that cost me.
I also want to give a shout out to my wife Hannah for the play of the weekend with her diving catch in the egg toss.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was very impressed.
I fell on the ground in awe.
It was such a good catch for the win too. So shout out Hannah, good catch there.
That was
We had a good time.
crazy passion and energy that I mean, yeah, that was awesome.
Do you feel like that passion and energy matches the pomp that Easter deserves, Bran?
That moment that Hannah did, I would live with a lot more of that energy from a day-to-day basis, because that was just awesome. You guys might, sometimes people have bad takes, and I'm gonna own that this might be a bad take. You guys can tell me that, and maybe I'll try to change my mind. But I've felt this way for years now. I'm ready to work through it. Easter is, technically speaking, the most Christian holiday. I actually looked it up. Church attendance is the highest on Easter, not Christmas. Nothing else like that. So Easter's the most Christian holiday. It's celebrating the resurrection of Christ. And I'm just always confused because you go to church and everyone is like so pumped about the resurrection of Jesus. They're like, he's risen. And I'm like,
he's risen indeed.
What have we been doing the other 364 days of the year? Like, what? If you're a Christian, you celebrate the resurrection of Christ every day. Well, I'm shocked that we're just like, well, it's Easter, so now we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus. Like, I enjoy Easter. I think the songs for Easter are the best at church.
Yeah,
so I'm not going to complain about that. They go hard. And I did enjoy, the Easter egg hunt and all the things we did, eating the ham, and those are all good things that I enjoy. I don't get why it's like a one day it just doesn't register. Maybe I'm being like a little like on the spectrum here, but is illogical is what I'm trying to get at. What are we doing? I can't even put into words why this doesn't register for me, but it doesn't.
I'm okay with that argument, Bran.
He's risen? Of course. We talk about it every Sunday. Like, what I feel like you like, let's say you're spiritually in like graduate school because you've been a Christian for so long, and then on Easter you go back to kindergarten. Like, why are we going back in the time machine? This is old. Like, this is great, but it's confusing to me, and it doesn't make sense.
If you felt like Christians did a better job at celebrating it on all the other days, would you then feel a little bit differently? Like, it has its special day, but also people got their priorities in line?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's one of the, I'm not sure. And maybe Cody's got a good point. Maybe if we had a parade, or I don't know, like at a fire, I'm not sure. Maybe that wouldn't help either. I don't know. Like, don't get me started on Christmas. I'll just say that. Enjoy it.
Just do it.
It's fun. Don't make sense to me. Historically, I'm just saying.
Might be a new segment here. Theological hot takes with Bran.
I mean, Easter service is a great service. You get the most people in. You get the most fire songs. Everyone dresses super snazzy. I mean, hard to argue with it. So the results speak for themselves. It's great, but it's just there's some link of logic that my brain is not computing, and I've just been wondering, this seems off to me.
I feel like you take like a birthday, for example, and everybody goes really hard celebrating the life of that one person. I think it's okay to go extra hard on one particular day. I think maybe it's just all the other days being maybe a little bit lackluster in that level of excitement. I think maybe just need to bring those up a little bit, not necessarily the celebration of the day itself. being the issue.
So you're saying Easter's like a birthday?
Yeah, and I know it's not, but it's like it's an anniversary, and like
Kinda.
anniversaries are important. And so I don't know, people we're cyclical like that. We like those reminders, and when
Mm.
that day comes around, it's just fun to get excited about it. That said, you make a really good point. Why aren't we always excited about it? So
Yeah, I don't know.
definitely a
It's just
different
like when my
direction than
birthday
the pod
happens,
typically
like
goes. But get your crap together, America, American church.
I turned 32 last year, and after my birthday, like, yeah, I celebrate my birthday, had cake, but I didn't tell people I was 31 anymore. Like, you it doesn't make sense to me. But you make a good argument with the anniversary thing. That makes sense, I guess. But I mean, seeing how we're staging it on the moon, that doesn't exactly add up to me. But my anniversary doesn't change with the phase of the moon personally. But
Well, maybe it should.
it's our third moon
You ever think about
anniversary.
that? That would be awesome.
I might look into that. I kind of like it.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Well,
anyways,
at the risk of losing what viewers we already had, shall we maybe transition to some sports talk?
I'll just say, Code, I think your anniversary thing might be bringing me back from the edge. So thank you for that. I might be back
No,
in on Easter.
That wasn't my
which I was
intention. I
never
like when you're living off the
completely out
edge.
on Easter. There was just something there that just felt off to me.
Not for sure.
I don't know what that was, but
That I warned you guys before this, and I hadn't said it in this episode yet, but maybe this can. I have 5 lines from Karl Anthony Towns that since the Pistons are playing the Knicks, and they're playing them right now, I have them pulled up on my screen, leading at halftime. I'm going to slide in those 5 lines, and we'll see who gets the most points at the end of the round, if you can pinpoint them.
Well, since you just mentioned the matchup with the Knicks, boys, after that, kind of heartbreaking Game 1 defeat at Madison Square Garden, what are you guys? What's your current outlook on that series? Do you think the Pistons can still get it done? What's changed for you? Where are you at?
I watched the Game 1 while playing a board game, so my attention was divided. But what I did watch, I thought the Pistons were the better team. Mm-hmm. But then the camera would cut, and then there would be Spike Lee, and then there would be, I can't even remember all the different celebrities I saw, but every single time it'd be a different one and a more famous one. And it was like, oh, the Pistons scored. Now we got to see this famous person. It's like the aura or the energy is so strong for the Knicks. I felt like it feels like the universe wants the Knicks. Obviously, the powers that be, I think, want the Knicks. Mm-hmm. And the Pistons are going to have to fight that. So I didn't feel great just watching, even though I was like, man, I think we're the better team here. And then the Knicks go on a 21-0 run. And I'm like, oh, that felt like all of that aura I was talking about kind of exploded at that moment. So I don't feel great. I don't know. They're playing right now. So what's our score? Do you got that up?
Yeah, they're up by 5 or 6 at halftime.
Okay. Because earlier today, when I saw that Beef Stew is out with a knee injury, I was not feeling good about tonight. So now being up at half, like, that's encouraging to me because one of the really key moments of the Game 1 was a block by Beef Stew, like an awesome block, and then a transition 3 to, I think, Malik Beasley. I could be wrong on who it was, though, but it was like the sequence was awesome. And I was like, that is so key to have a guy that can deny the post like that. And, of course, bring, that Detroit energy that we need. So we'll monitor, I guess, his injury status. But I was feeling awful about today's game. So we'll see what they do. Going forward, I still am just leery about we're facing a New York team, the New York Knicks. Even if we're better, like, don't have a lot of playoff experience. I think that showed in Game 1. and hopefully they grow up fast in like postseason experience because it's a team they can beat.
Yeah, you nailed it, Bran. But I think I have a little bit more optimism. However, to preface,
Shocking.
you guys know I have a little bit of a sickness when it comes to sports. Usually it's when I was playing. I loved playing against guys who are just jerks. Just like the villain guy who is just, he's going to say crap, trash talk. He's just hateable. I've grown to love that also as a fan. And in basketball, there's no helmets or pads blocking what these guys are saying or looking like and doing. This Knicks team is so freaking hateable.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson, the way he plays that old Harden, Shea Gilchrist-Alexander style of just throwing your head back every time you're touched. And it is the worst. It's so annoying. And then Karl Anthony Towns, he's the same, but the dude's body is nuts. Like being that tall and thick, and the talent he has, he's so good, but so complainy. And his voice, just like anytime he drives to the basket, it's like, oh my gosh, and it's so annoying. Hey, who said it? I don't know if that one counts, but I am feeling optimistic still, though, because we're in Madison Square Garden hanging with them. There was that stupid fourth quarter where I don't know, like the Pistons looked so good yesterday, all game, to where they were up by, I forget how many points, 9, 12. So they had a good lead. And then the Knicks just went on a 21-0 run to finish the game pretty much. So, like, after all that, they still couldn't put it away.
Is that one trap?
Yep, that was one. Code, you got to step up your game, man.
I don't think I was a part of this conversation. This is...
I just explained it earlier in the pod.
I mean, yeah, a little. Oh, well.
Anyways, after all that, they still couldn't put them away. So I'm not feeling optimistic yet in this game. Like, we were joking, all three of us this weekend, that the NBA, it doesn't matter what lead you have. It matters your final score. So I like what I'm seeing tonight. Like, I've got the game right here next to me watching. And they're looking good. But we'll see if they can finish it out. Because, like Brandon said, they got an uphill battle. The Knicks are already good. Then the crowd, then if you listen to the commentating, it's hard to listen to sometimes because New York's such a bigger market that they're catering to. So a lot to overcome, but I still like this Pistons team.
Imagine, the media headlines, the talking points. If the Pistons win this series, it's not going to be, wow, look at the Pistons. They've grown so much. It's going to be, wow, I can't believe like New York blew it. Like, are they ever going to get over the hump? Because they don't want to talk about Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
No one wants to talk about Detroit. I want to talk about Detroit, but I'm not big media, so that's probably why.
At the beginning of this game tonight, the Pistons were up 6-4 in the first quarter, and the commentators were like, "You just gotta love to see what you're seeing from this Knicks team. They're really pushing the ball tonight. Like, it's a 6-4 game, and they're losing, and that's the comment you make." So that's just kind of the scene we're in.
Also, just another reason to maybe feel positive. Looking at the box score at halftime, Cade Cunningham currently has 20 points.
And 7 boards.
And 7 boards is good too, but 20 at half, keep it up in the second half, and buddy, that's a playoff performance.
That's huge, actually, because in that game 1 performance, they were mauling Cade. When Cade would try and get into the paint, Cat would come to hedge around the screen, and then they would hit him with another guy often too, and he would have to dish the ball constantly. And to the Pistons, to their credit, they were finding guys outside and they were hitting the 3 ball early on. But into that fourth quarter, those secondary, third options, they weren't able to get it done. And in that fourth quarter in the playoffs, that's when you need your star to show up. You need your guy to be able to get to the bucket. So it looks like the Pistons are able to scheme him open, or he's just taking the matter into his own hands and getting it done. So hopefully that carries on. But that's what they're going to need ultimately, because this Pistons team is pretty young. They're very inexperienced when it comes to the playoffs, a lot of their core anyways. They're going to need their star to step up when it matters most and be able to fight through all the attention that they're giving him. So, I'm still relatively optimistic. Knowing that they're gonna start the series off in New York, you expect they're gonna drop at least a game. Probably, it's gonna be a dogfight. It's just the way that they lost that game that really takes the wind out of your sails a little bit. Makes you think, ooh, maybe this team is a little bit too inexperienced. You can't give up a 21-0 run in the fourth quarter. You can't end a game like that. But if KD didn't get going, who knows what can happen? Because that boy different.
So, Cody, as we move on to next segments, I want to be clear. I've got a few more lines that Karl Anthony Towns is known for saying and saying it. They're just funny.
Right. I wasn't sure if you shared those with Brandon beforehand.
I did not share what the lines were.
Okay. You told me I got to step up my game. It's like, I'm not familiar with his craft the way you are, apparently.
Well, to be fair, I was expecting Travis to try to slip them in Travis's voice instead of using his Karl Anthony Towns voice, which kind of gives it away. But I'm not complaining because I really like it when Trav uses his Karl Anthony Towns voice. So I don't know. I just find this whole thing fun.
That, but...
Nah, that'd get you canceled in 2023, but we're fine now.
I love it.
I guess while we're still on the topic of this current NBA playoff series, one question I think Brandon posed was, in your hierarchy of villains, where does Brunson rate? I'm really curious what you guys think about that.
When you are looking at this list, Brand, hierarchy of villains, what current sports villains?
I guess however you want to answer it. I was just thinking NBA, but if you've got other sports villains, that might make it a more fun discussion.
Is Jalen Brunson higher on our list because we are Michigan fans and lived through that as well?
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, okay. Then he's probably on our Mount Rushmore of NBA villains.
I was trying to look through just the most hateable players in the NBA. I was like, who do I hate the most? Because I was not thinking of many other names that I would really put above him. I mean, I always knew that I hated him, but I didn't realize it was that much as I was trying to brainstorm names. So I started looking it up. I was like, there's got to be people I'm missing. And I'm not sure there are any. So it feels kind of wrong to put him at number one, but I don't know. He's way up there. He's at least like A tier villain.
I've got one that's growing on me, and if I wasn't a Pistons fan, I probably would like the guy. Tyrese Halliburton. That rivalry's picking up steam, and if the Pistons can get through this series and face the Pacers, you guys will understand that, I think. Halliburton has that kind of shimmy in him. He talks a lot. And even George Blaha, when they played earlier this year, had a moment where he was like, that Halliburton never shuts his mouth. And so just that, I love George Blaha, and knowing that he feels that way, that adds fuel to the fire. So he's up there for me currently, just for rivalry's sake, and he definitely fuels that rivalry.
To maybe fuel your hatred, did you know that he has two different voices?
It's crazy.
If you're unaware, just look up Tyrese Halliburton voice switch. In the middle of a sentence, his voice will go from a lower pitch to all of a sudden he's talking like this, and it goes to a higher pitch, and it's baffling. I don't know how else to describe it.
So you're not talking about code switching. You're like talking about like schizophrenia, or it's like,
I don't know what it is.
I don't know,
something of that nature.
I have no I have no idea what's going on there, but all of a sudden it's a different voice, and it'll happen randomly, I guess. And he says he doesn't have control over it. I don't know. He's got kind of an interesting character, really good basketball player. So,
well, you know who does that too is Karl Anthony Towns. Slips out.
Another weirdo. Yeah.
What's
Jalen
that
Brunson
movie like, Bran?
Sorry,
is it Mr. Glass? No. with the guy with like the 21 different personalities.
Oh, you're talking about Split?
Split.
Yeah, Split. That's
Oh,
another
yeah.
person who does that.
Yeah, yep. And he's
James
definitely
McAvoy. That's who I was trying
he's
to think
definitely
of.
portraying super mental illness. So I don't know if I want to say those guys haven't done anything like that, but not sure it's a different personality. Because yeah, James McAvoy, he's like goes from being a little kid to like a little girl to then just being a killer. So
Trisha says I can't talk to you right now.
go to bed, Hedwig.
I just wanted a chance to mention that movie because it's so good.
It's so
That
good.
is a good one. He's on my Mount Rushmore, I think, of hated players. Like Cody said, I don't think I can give him number one because I don't think he's good enough. He's good, but I think to be at the tippy top, you have to be like legendary. LeBron James is my number one. I hate LeBron James.
Yep,
I know
same.
that makes me a hater, but I just don't see like he's obviously talented, but man, he does not have the competitor in him that some of the other guys had, like a Kobe or a Jordan. He's amazing though.
For me, it's not even on the court things. It's how off the court LeBron perceives himself as the second coming of Christ. And I'm old enough to remember when people would have their own like social injustice campaigns that they would try and represent, but they didn't align with his values. His values being, what benefited China. And so he would tell them to shut up because, he's allowed to champion whatever he wants as long as nobody says a word about China. So and then there's all those memes about LeBron just straight up lying just
Yeah.
just to appear incredibly intelligent, but he just doesn't realize how arrogant that makes him look. So yeah, that and just on the court drama.
Yeah, the on the court stuff, it's for me with like Michael Jordan changed the game and how it was reffed and defended. Well, LeBron changed the game as well. I think he was the kingpin of flopping and how players react to fouls and trying to draw fouls.
Yeah.
That's a huge part of the game now. Didn't used to be, and it sucks. It's my least favorite part of basketball. The NBA, a lot of people can poke holes at different things they don't like, travels, how it's reffed, but the flopping is just trying to draw fouls that way. He ushered in this era, and I give him a lot of blame for it. Not taking away, he is one of the greatest basketball players of all time, which also helps him, I think, be more hateable. So, good for you, LeBron.
But yeah, so like LeBron is my George Washington on the Mount Rushmore, and Jalen Brunson, probably my Abraham Lincoln. Like he's right there. So really high for him. Good job, Jalen Brunson, being that hateable. Draymond Green is also on my Mount Rushmore. I can't stand Draymond Green. We talk about mental illness people. He's a candidate for sure.
I'm fine with being a menace on the court sometimes, but like attacking your own team, like the Jordan Poole incident, that showed, I think, Draymond's true colors.
We got the same three so far, Bran.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
The thing is I'm kind of open to the fourth. Like, I feel like it's like a rotating spot. Like, that's like my Theodore Roosevelt. Like, I'm not like, or, no, I'll say it's my Thomas Jefferson. I like Theodore Roosevelt better than Thomas Jefferson.
Good choice. That was a good save.
I agree with that.
I feel like it comes and goes. Like, for a minute, it was Dylan Brooks. Like, I found him completely annoying. Now I just don't really care about him anymore. Actually, for a while, I was going to say
Russ, but he's just not relevant the way he was before.
For a while, I was starting to get really frustrated with Ja Morant. But then last week, he came up with the greatest celebration where after getting fined for doing pistol, like, celebrations pointing, finger guns, he started miming throwing grenades into the crowd and then covering his ears. And I think it's the greatest celebration ever created. And he's now on my Mount Rushmore of favorite NBA players because I'm just in awe. Like, I saw that like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I'm still not over it. Like that stuck with me. So thank you, John Morant, for that. But if you guys have a guy like that can take my Thomas Jefferson slot, let me know.
The Ja memes are pretty great too. You see those bits between Ja and his coach, like, Ja, come here for a second. Like, hey, what did you just get in trouble for? He's like, I didn't do it. I did something different this time. Ja, you used an RPG. Like, you can't do that. Next time he goes through and he's like planting, in Search and Destroy. Like, it's like, Ja, what are you doing? Get over here. Oh, this cracked me. I didn't do the gun thing. This was different this time. It's like, those kill me.
I agree 100% with you guys there. The grenade thing's hilarious. But I do have one more honorable mention guy for my Mount Rushmore is Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
And that's just, it bothers me. He's cringy. He's very good. He wins a lot. He's on a great team. But the way he demands the respect and tries to be epic, and he just isn't.
Yeah.
Like, it's not very authentic.
No.
And it drives me crazy.
You see, when he finally won the playoffs and the NBA championship. And there was it was only a 30-second reel, and that was the amount of time it took for him to just quote pretty much every player who has said anything ever iconic after winning winning the NBA championship. No quotes of his own. Bro is just anyone but his own person. But I really like this clip that I saw of his coach. Is it Missoula? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right.
Missoula.
You'll like him after this, Brand.
I saw this.
But, yeah, dude hurt his wrist or something, is rolling on the ground, talking about LeBron ushering in this era of soft players. And Missoula is just screaming at him, "Get up!" He told the trainer, "Don't go get him." Like, held the trainer back, said, "Get up!" What are you doing? Yeah, I loved it.
You see the clip where the reporter asks Missoula about the royal family because they had visited Boston, and he was like, "Who? Mary, Joseph, and Jesus?" He was like, "Man, that guy is wild."
He is wild.
Probably against the rules, but I think my fourth spot would go to Angel Reese.
All right. Yeah, you convinced me. Throw her on there.
I didn't even have to say anything.
Oh, man, I'm so in.
Oh. Probably my favorite recent follow is the guy who posts Angel Reese highlights, but it's just her chucking the ball into the bottom of the rim and getting swatted. And every time the guy just screaming, "Bang!"
She recently said her favorite, who she looked up to and tried to emulate. I forget if she said Michael Jordan or Kobe. Probably Kobe. But I wanted someone to clip that and then do the thing where they did with Michael Jordan and Kobe edits, where they'd show Kobe start it and Michael Jordan would finish it. It was identical. I wanted that with the Angel Reese edit. Would have been fire.
Be the change you want to see in the world, Trev.
I actually don't hate Angel Reese. I like the rivalry. I hate the how they tried to build her up to be something I don't think she is.
She tried to build herself up to be that.
Yeah, for sure. But Brand, she's from Baltimore. That's what she would say. I think she literally said that when she was in college. I agree with you there, but I'm trying to take it in. I live in Caitlin Clark country now.
What are you even talking about, Trav?
But that's partially what I did put Tyrese Halliburton on the list because of the Pistons rivalry. So maybe I should put Angel Reese because of the rivalry. But I have more disdain for the legends that came before Caitlin Clark and just trashed her before she entered the league, like Diana Taurasi, these legends of WNBA who just couldn't get their feet out of their mouths and try to be so prideful, and she's going to have in for a rude awakening and thing after thing after thing. Be thankful that Caitlin Clark's a baller. Angel Reese, she's going to have a good WNBA career. She's already had a pretty decent start as a rookie. Not the same. Don't try to make it the same. It's just insane. We have eyeballs. We're not insane basketball watchers, but they try to create something that's not, and then they try to tear down someone who maybe is. Like, come on, what are we doing here, folks? That narrative is on my Rushmore, and this Knicks commentator crowd watching this game is driving me nuts.
All right,
it'd be one thing if okay, never mind. Angel Reese spearheads that narrative. She brings that upon herself.
That's fair.
We're not just watching because of Caitlin Clark. It's because of her too. Okay,
she did say
she
that.
Also is spearheading the movement to have a strike because they need to make more money, even though their league makes negative money. And also, I would just like to have any listeners reach out, let us know. Is Travis not hating on Angel Reese or Brandon hating on Easter the worst take? So we can figure that out. Because I'm shocked at what I'm hearing from Travis. Travis, who is supposed to be a hater, not hating on Angel Reese is just I'm at a loss for words.
I'll work on it.
Yeah, you better. Well, we should probably also get working on our last iterations of our mock drafts. The NFL draft is rapidly approaching, and it's a different one this year for the Lions with the 28th overall pick this year. Very different from what we've seen in years past. It's, a bit of a heartbreaker this past year with the expectations upon the team only to get trounced by the Commanders. That said, there's still some exciting options that we could see from the Lions this year. And don't necessarily have too much structure with this one. I'm just curious what your guys' overall thoughts and hopes are leading into this 2025 NFL draft.
I'll leave it open to the guy with the Lions hat who came prepared to give his thoughts first there.
What am I hoping for? I'm hoping the Lions draft a player that helps them win a Super Bowl.
Oh, good.
Honestly, I'm just like Cody said, it's a different draft than I think we've ever experienced. We're used to drafting at the top. We're used to drafting someone who you think is going to be a franchise changer. At 28, you might not be looking at that. You might be trying to look at who is going to be a good guard, because for the longest time we've wanted a star edge rusher, and we got one with Aiden Hutchinson, but across from him we've had a whole bunch of Joes, and you're probably not going to find a team-changing edge rusher at 28. Like, historically, I can't think of anyone that goes late first round, really, that usually is an immediate impact guy. Guys obviously develop over, course of years, but at that position, you're probably not getting someone. So I'm looking at offensive line, defensive tackle. I think you can still get a good defensive tackle there. We clearly need both defensive tackles. Offensive line did start to fall off at the end of the year. Really, that's where I'm looking at both lines of scrimmage, basically. And then maybe looking edge in the second and third, because we do need someone. We got Marcus Davenport slated to start again, so we'll probably get 2 to 3 good games out of him before 1 or 2 of his body parts break down. And Josh Paschal is solid. Like, he can run defend pretty good. He's good for about 2.5 sacks. But we need someone legit that can get to the passer. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited. Like, I think that they could get a really good player, but it's just different. We're not looking at trying to get our Penei Sewell. We're not looking at getting our quarterback of the future. Unless you guys want to get freaky, one of my mock drafts, I might have drafted the Ole Miss quarterback in the second round. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, you never know. This is why it's fun. Like, maybe you get your heir apparent, because it's not looking great with Hendon Hooker. So,
well, that sort of begs the question then. Do you think that in the positions the Lions are with their current roster, that they should trade up And regardless of whether you think they should or not, do you think they will?
Oh,
I don't think they will, but I think they're thinking about it. We people like to say that Brad Holmes, like, he comes in with his plan. He's not going to mess with his team. He's going to add to it, and he has got a good track record of drafting. However, this is a new position for him, late first round. That's going to be a bit of a different strategy. I am okay with the trade up, depending on what we give up, obviously. And there's rumors going around of one big guy that might be traded on draft day from the Lions. I want to get your guys' take on that. A lot of people are whispering about, will the Lions trade J-Mo?
That's so stupid. Why would that be a thing?
So the thing is, the list of players that the Lions need to pay and pay soon is getting a little long, and that's we won't have to pay him if we trade him.
You've got 2 more years of him under contract if you want.
I agree. I hate it, but I wanted to see if you guys had heard of that and if you thought it was as dumb as I thought it was.
I haven't heard of it. I don't agree with it. I can see where they might find their logic in it, because with the amount of talent that JMO poses for this team, they have not gotten the most that they could out of him. And he has not gotten the most that he can offer out of himself, between just the character issues and the character issues. So I could see that as something that just rubs this administration very much the wrong way. This, this front office that is very bent on making sure that we get character guys that do things the right way, that show up and put the work in. They might be fed up with that. And if they can find a way to downsize in costs with a young player with some talent who's going to show up and do what they expect him to do, I wouldn't be totally shocked to see that happen. I'd say that we've seen more shocking things happen from Brad Holmes on draft day. So I wouldn't love it. I think he's an immense talent, and I think we've yet to see even close to what he's capable of. I think, sky's the limit with him on the offense, with the creativity that you're able to get from him and the speed that he offers in space. I think that would be a tremendous loss to lose him. I wouldn't be terribly shocked if that was in the conversation. I think this is a team that has shown that they're willing to trade up. And I think there are some guys that they would maybe trade up for. One that I've got my eye on is Mikael Williams. I think that he, edge from Georgia, he's been listed as a high quality character guy, but also a guy with a lot of untapped upside and a team that needs an edge. And he should fall maybe somewhere like in the 20s, maybe low 20s. If they could trade up just a little bit to land him, I think they would see that as a massive win. Dan Campbell has mentioned it's just too expensive for them to go out and get a high quality edge. So they're going to have to get one in the draft if they want to pair somebody with Hutch. I think they need to get one in the draft. So if that's the case, if they're not willing to spend in free agency, I think they need to trade as high as they can. Only problem is if they're not getting Abdul Carter, which would be incredibly difficult, I think there's a pretty significant fall off after that. So I wouldn't be too in love with many of the guys available, but this Super Bowl window is now. So I do think that they should get somebody, and I wouldn't think that it's outside the realm of possibility.
Mikael Williams. So one of those guys that he's the prototypical edge rusher mold as far as measurables, as far as athleticism. Doesn't have the production. What would your preference be? Trade up for Mikael Williams or trade back towards the front of the second round and draft a guy like JT Tuimoloau, who has pretty much double the production of Mikael Williams, similar build, but for whatever reason, probably not quite as athletic, but doesn't seem as high on boards. I really kind of like him as an opposite of Hutch type of guy, because he doesn't have to be the guy. He was the guy at Ohio State, and he had 12 sacks last year, which that's pretty good. I know he played 16 games, but if he's your second defensive end, think you're feeling pretty great. And of course, in the process, you'd be recouping even more picks.
Yeah, I like that as well. I had just heard like reports that maybe the Lions, it's all smoke and mirrors at this point. Nobody knows anything for certain. But had heard reports that perhaps the Lions were keying in on Mikael Williams. I think he'd be a solid player, but like you said, hasn't really shown the production just yet. He's been hampered by injuries. And so I think we've really not quite yet been able to see what he's fully capable of. I don't think he's really shown his best yet. I do think that the right team could get a lot more out of him than what he showed at the college level, but he's not a sure thing. So I would be totally fine with that, Brand. I don't know that they necessarily need to trade up for a guy like that. I think that's fine, especially because they do probably need to get a guard as well. Losing Zeitler to a free agency, they're going to have a little bit of a gap there. They've had a really strong O-line in years past, and they need to keep that going for them. So I wouldn't mind seeing that move, Bryn.
What kind of move do you think excites Brad Holmes the most? Like, whether is it just getting a guy? Like, what move? Like, does he do? And after he's like, yeah, I got that.
100%. If he feels like he got his guy, I mean, go back to all his draft reactions. He drafted Penei Sewell. Like that one, obviously, was like, I can't believe we got that guy. Aiden Hutchinson, same thing. Obviously, we were down on Jahmyr Gibbs. You look at the reaction when they drafted Gibbs, you thought that they hit a walk-off grand slam in the World Series. Like, he was so pumped. And then last year, they trade the farm to trade up and get Giovanni Manu in the 4th round or 3rd round. Same thing, like, so pumped. Trade up to get Sione Vaki. Like, if they get their guy, that's what, like, for Brad Holmes, it's like winning the Super Bowl, I think. So 100%, that's what gets him up in the morning.
I'm still pretty high on Sione Vaki. I like that guy a lot. I know
running back 4.
I know it's a scorching hot take and a pretty bad draft pick, but I like him a lot.
Special teams demon, Trav. Going back to Code's point, because edge rusher is, I think, the biggest missing piece for our team. Mikael Williams, that's a good one to point out. I've seen him mocked as well for a potential trade up. I think what's his name? Colton. Colton is on the beat. Can't remember his last name. For
Pouncey.
Colton who?
Pouncey.
He does a good job covering the Lions, and he mocked the Lions to trade up for him, which is kind of bold, like to predict a trade up for a guy. So he probably is a Brad Holmes type of guy, and he feels the need, and I can see that happening. There are some edge rushers that I would say are not Brad Holmes type of guys, but are maybe our kind of guys, if you know what I mean. And I want
Did they go to Georgia?
Hey, Mikael Williams is to Georgia, and he's a high character guy. So
let's go.
I think that means he probably has 0 driving citations, which is a miracle. But edge rusher, there's some guys that they could actually be like big impact guys, but they also might be impact guys in the locker room in the other direction. Mike Green is mocked to go in top 20. Yeah. He's got some pretty bad stuff in his history. Another guy that I really like because his NFL comp is Brian Burns, is James Pierce from Tennessee. And he does have sack production too. And he's probably, I would say he's maybe the second most freaky guy that's predicted to go in the 1st round. Just like a crazy lanky athlete that's got insane agility and speed. But the guy that's interesting to me is Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M. If you want to talk about a guy who has no production, it's this guy. But he like broke the RAS scale. Like, I don't think they've ever seen a guy have the type of athleticism, and they're predicted him to go top like 15. But I've also seen him drop out of the 1st round because they're like, well, this guy doesn't get sacks. And they're saying, well, maybe it was the scheme at Texas A&M. I think if you were good, you'd probably get some sacks. But it's a need. And if you put some guy that literally could just like push a mountain with his bare hands, I think he could figure it out opposite Aiden Hutchinson. I'm not going to put my weight behind him, but just a guy to think about. What do you guys think about some of those names? Because potentially one of those three guys could be a trade-up candidate, or one of them could fall because of character issues or because of production issues, while having the upside to actually be like the Robin to Aiden Hutchinson's Batman, or the Batman to Aiden Hutchinson's Batman.
Well, I do like some of those names, but I do think with just the concerns and reports swirling around Mike Green that the Lions could have 15 picks in the first round, and I don't think they would take him with any of them.
Yeah.
I think Shamar Stewart, that is one with intrigue. I'm just always curious about these guys that are freak athletes that weren't able to do anything in college. If they fall low enough, I feel like, at pick 28, that's worth taking a swing, because a guy with those types of physicals, you just don't see that late very often. So that's why I don't know that they're going to trade up, because there's a lot of intriguing players that really could fall. Another one that would be along a different line, if we're thinking like center or guard, would be Gray Zabel. I think is going to be available around that point in time. And he, they're saying, projects pretty strongly as well at a position of relative need. So I think there's going to be some decent options available for him. I don't think they're going to have to really settle. That said, I like trading. And I think that this is such a talented squad that if there's a time to do it, if there's a time to mortgage a little bit of your future, it's now. That said, I don't have any like huge draft crushes this year. I feel like this year, a little bit disappointing, at least in some of the positions that the Lions need. Unless, like I said, you're going straight up like Abdul Carter, which it's not going to happen. So
I got some.
They'll
I
probably
got some
stand
bad
pat.
crushes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your crushes.
I'm
bro.
in love with a couple guys, and one of them is an unhealthy relationship because it's a position of not need at all. I think that so my philosophy of football is like defense and stopping like the run. Basically,
Where you going with this, Fran?
So I'm fighting myself because I think you need to build the trenches. That's my favorite thing. But then Cody says Gray Zabel, a player that I think will be absolutely solid, could play guard for us next year because we need a guard, and then maybe could fill in at center when inevitably Frank the Tank retires, because I just think he's not long for the league with his injury history, and I think he's also a guy that really just enjoys like hunting and fishing and just like not working. So I think that's a solid pick, but it's not exciting, right? Like, couldn't we get a guard or center in the third round? I think you probably could. Like, what do we pay? Like, what do these guys get paid for in the front office if they're not scouting a guard that they can pick up in the third round? But all that to say, my exciting but probably stupid pick, a guy that could go anywhere from the top 10 to 20, is Tetaroa McMillan. I think this guy is his comp is Drake London, which is solid. Drake London was a top 10 receiver in his loaded wide receiver class. And another guy I think he compares very favorably to is Tampa Bay's Mike Evans. Mike Evans has had like 12 seasons in a row of 1,000 yards. And last year was like his best. And he's like 33 now. So the thing is he would be our wide receiver 3. That's not great to draft your wide receiver 3 in the first round. That being said,
and to trade up for it.
Could you not imagine an offense with 3 wide receiver 1s? Because if JMO progresses, like he has that upside. Obviously, Amon-Ra is a wide receiver 1. And Tetaroa McMillan is the best receiver in this draft class, I believe, and has the upside to be like a Mike Evans. The offense would be amazing. And we could win every game 50-42. And it might be the most exciting football. It goes against everything I believe in as a football watcher. I will admit this. but I think this guy's a stud. And also, we are missing a big, like, contested catch guy. He's like 6'4". He catches everything. He's got Spider-Man hands, and he's awesome. So that's just a draft crush that I don't think will happen. It doesn't make sense. But if he were to fall, I think you might create the best offense in the NFL. And we've invested a lot in Jared Goff. Might as well make his job easier. I mean, screw it. Tetaroa's down there somewhere. So that one's really unrealistic, but I love him. I think he's really exciting. And you know what? He's terrible. Do not draft him in the Dynasty draft, wherever he ends up. I don't have a first-round pick anyways. The other guy is another guy that he could go top 10, but also I've seen him drop in mocks. Kelvin Banks is an offensive tackle, but he can play guard as well. And I really like him because he could play guard for us and then eventually slide over and take our left tackle job because what's our left tackle's name again? I forget. Taylor Decker.
Taylor?
He's not I don't think he's I think he's going to I don't want to predict this, but I do feel like he's past his prime, and I think the fall off might be dramatic. And if we had a guy in waiting, because it's supposed to be Giovanni Manu, and I don't think that's going to happen. So this guy 100% can do it. Like, we know he can play left tackle, and in the meantime, he could be an awesome guard. I feel like that would be a home run, but I think he probably goes way before the Lions would be able to trade up to get him, because you can only, like last year, we traded up to get Terrion Arnold because he fell far enough it was possible. And this guy, he does need to tumble a little bit. So if he does, that would be a dream come true for me.
Yeah, I'm fine with that one because you need to build up the trenches. You know, that's where the battle's won. McMillan is a stud. But you know who's also a stud? Ashton Genty. Why don't we just have 3 stud running backs while we're at it?
We already do.
You know, you're talking about
yeah, Craig Reynolds.
yeah. Why don't we slot in Genty as our RB5? We got to get Vaki touches.
They're saying Genty might go at the 5th spot to the Jaguars.
Yeah, I was seeing that too.
Don't blame him.
Oh, that would be so fun.
I do. I don't believe in drafting running backs in the first round.
I think
but
the Jaguars hate ETN.
Yeah.
They don't want him anymore. They're like, please, Tank, be good enough so we don't have to play ETN anymore. And I'm saying that from a fantasy owner who's had ETN for like the last few years. And he has these huge games, and then he just disappears.
The Lions don't have that prototypical X receiver, but they were already the most electric offense in the NFL last year. And they were winning those games 50-40 on a weekly basis. Like, that's what we were seeing last year. And when they met their inevitable demise, it wasn't because they were lacking weapons. It was because we saw Mr. Hyde come out to play football at the quarterback position. So I don't think we're lacking in offensive tools. I think my problem is how fun would it be to have McMillan, but like, how much would that actually move the needle? So I think it's for that reason that I wasn't crushing on him too hard. But I kind of get it, because at the same time, like, I am crushing on Colson Loveland, and that's not like a big need for the Lions at all. But how fun would it be, right?
Before we get into doing our mock draft, shout out and maybe some thoughts on the Michigan guys who are probably going to go round 1. Cody, you just mentioned one of them that you love. Gruden there's a video of John Gruden raving over Kenneth Grant, and he's watching the video of Kenneth Grant just sprinting after I forget if it was a running back.
Penn State running back.
Tracks him down. That's one of the most impressive defensive line plays I think I've ever seen. That might get him drafted. That play alone. Mm-hmm. Mason Graham, obviously. Will Johnson. If any of those guys are available at 28, would you snag them? None of them are really in a position.
Well, Yeah, I'd take Mason Graham at a heartbeat.
Would you take Kenneth Grant?
I think I would because we need a nose tackle.
Mm-hmm.
What's his face? The guy that we signed last year. I'm having a hard time remembering his name, but he was supposed to be really good, and he was just pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And he's getting older, and we need his replacement. So yeah, I think he fills a need, and also he's got some sneaky pass rush ability. So we need that. I'm a little concerned about Lee McNeil because he's coming off an ACL, and I don't know how long he'll be out, if he'll be the same. And getting pressure up the middle is like the new edge rusher, basically. So yeah, I like Kenneth Grant. I don't know if he'll be there at 28. If he is, I'd be very happy with him there. I think he still has a long way to go technically. Like Mason Graham is so much better than Kenneth Grant from a technical perspective. But from an athletic perspective, Kenneth Grant is way beyond Mason Graham.
I think something that I'm curious about, because we were talking about these guys, our draft crushes. One thing we didn't really touch on would be the draft disasters. Do you guys have any names that you would just be head in hands, scrap the year? Maybe not scrap the year, but just like that type of reaction if you saw their name called when the Lions are on the clock?
It might be JMO for me. If I see that a trade with him happens, I would be pretty heartbroken. I don't have many players that I'm just would think is disastrous, especially picking at 28. It feels just a little bit different than years prior, where there were some where I definitely didn't want them that early in the draft. But at 28, there's some options, and I'm not as scared, but famous last words. We'll see what happens.
Mine is more positions. I don't want to do corners. We've invested so much in corner. Obviously, it still needed help, so like I get it, but I don't know. Let's let these guys sink or swim. Specifically, they say we need a safety. If Malachi Starks were to drop to us, I'm fine with that. If they go with Nick Imanwari from South Carolina, I'll be very upset because I think this is a guy who is a linebacker cosplaying as a safety, and he's a crazy athlete, and I don't know that he's a great football player. And in the secondary, I think it's a lot more important than at the defensive line. You can draft a great athlete on the defensive line and just say, go get that guy. In the secondary, you have to be very savvy. You've got to know where the ball's going before it's going there. And I don't know. I just don't see it with him. And people are saying, like, people have him going really high. Probably because he's another one that kind of broke the athletic score testing. But in the secondary, like Brian Branch tested terribly. He's a fantastic corner / safety for us. So I'm less about athletic testing for defensive backs. That being said, like Trav asked if a Michigan player were to drop, like, yeah, if Will Johnson drops to 28 somehow, yeah, run to the podium because you just got your cornerback one. And that it's too bad because we've invested so much there, but players of that caliber, like you take them and you figure out the rest later. So yeah, cornerback. I probably would say like we can't be wasting picks on quarterbacks. Like I know I said I drafted Jackson Dart, but I think we've got other needs that are more pressing.
Jackson
Running
Dart
back
checks a lot of Travis boxes at quarterback.
Hey, I think he was the most impressive guy we watched at the combine.
Cody knows what I was going to say.
Yep.
He's got that cool, dumb demeanor.
Trav loves the guys that are on the dumb scale.
Yeah, I need to dig into it further, add more people, and do some real research to see if it's real or if it's just Cade McNamara.
But you're on to something. That's the important thing.
I at least got a rabbit hole to go down.
To be honest, there's not a lot of guys I would hate. So that's kind of exciting.
I have a couple.
I want to hear those. I do want to say another guy that I was kind of excited about. Although I had it on my list now, I can't find it. Who it was? Jahad Campbell. He's a linebacker for Alabama, and we do need linebackers, but he's also a guy that is a really good pass rusher. So he could kind of fill some of that need that we have. We really were hoping to get more pass rush out of a guy like Derek Barnes. And we did give him a $30 million contract, so I guess we're planning on that from him. We haven't seen it from him in like 5 or 6 years. So Jahad Campbell at linebacker would be, I think, a really good pick, but another guy probably going to be gone by 28. But Cody, who do you hate?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Jihad Campbell because I'd just be pumped to have a guy named Holy War. I think that would just be electric. But you mentioned when we were at the combine, we watched Luther Burden run the gauntlet.
Yep.
There are so many people who have been comping or not comping, but mocking Luther Burden to Detroit, saying Detroit finally gets their X receiver, and it's like, what are y'all seeing in this guy? Because he did not impress. And maybe that's a small sample size. Maybe he just had an off day, but he was not worth taking a swing in the first round. The skills just did not seem to be there. You could find what he was offering way, way later rounds, at least in my opinion. And wide receiver is not that big of a position of need. So if you're going to actually get a guy, he better be a bona fide stud, or you better be going in later rounds. But getting a guy like him, it would have to be in the first round, and I would hate that. That would be head and hands moment for me. Season wouldn't be scrapped, but I would be beside myself with that pick. And then I've also seen people mention Jack Sawyer playing on edge. That's not the solution for me to have your number 2 guy opposite of Hutch. Sawyer for me is the epitome of little dog energy. To be at a team like Ohio State and all the tools that he had around him, very little production, all bark, no bite. I would hate that. But you mentioned Tuomo-Lau. I'd be fine with that, but I don't feel the same about Sawyer. I think he does solid at run defense, but he just doesn't get the pressure needed on the quarterback that we need opposite Hutch. So those are the two that I would be disappointed to see, because I do not think that is the solution to our edge problem.
I think with Sawyer, I think it depends on where. Like, if he fell, I wouldn't mind, because I think he is probably an upgrade over what you've been doing, because what you've been doing is playing literally guys that aren't on NFL rosters anymore. But yeah, I agree. Like, he's not the answer, but he could also be an improvement. But yeah, I think JTT is a better option. Another guy I forgot I wanted to shout out. I think he fits the grit index. I think he's probably a Brad Holmes guy. Tyler Booker plays guard for Alabama, and he had a quote, I think at the Senior Bowl, that he said he loves football because it's legalized assault. Which, all right, like I understand that. And then he said the other thing he loves is when he's blocking a defender, he loves to see their love for the game of football disappear. It's not just like, dude, this guy is like a warrior menace. Like, you can tell, like, that's a Brad Holmes guy. No character concerns. The only thing is he's not like a crazy athlete, so you're probably not asking him to be a pulling guard. But I don't think that's what you need. Like, you need a replacement for Kevin Zeitler. He can do that and some, I think. And he fits the culture of Detroit. Like, they drafted Christian Mahogany and last year at guard, and he did well for a couple games. And he had a similar mindset. Like, Brad Holmes, he called him a dirtbag. And Christian Mahogany put dirtbag in his like tag on like Twitter and Instagram. Like, he's now Christian dirtbag Mahogany.
I like that.
Like, they want guys that are kind of embrace the nasty side of football, within the lines, obviously. They want high character but nasty football players, and that's Tyler Booker to a T. So a guy I could see them going for if he's available at 28.
Well, if you guys are good with it, I've got the mock draft up and open here. I can share my screen with you. And for the sickos who have been waiting for this, I say we do it trade free for this one, unless you guys really want to do a shorter, maybe 3-round where we do trades. Up to you.
Nah, I think we should just see, because there are some interesting names. I think we should see where they fall. No trades, in my opinion.
So let me share my screen real quick. Let me know if you guys can see it.
Negative.
Let us know when we're supposed to be able to see it.
We're supposed to. Oh, there we go. Got it. Now we're good.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm sure.
Oh,
There
here
we
it is.
go. Sweet.
All right, we're going to do Detroit 7 rounds fast. Sound good?
All right, we'll
Sounds
try to
good.
make our decisions quick too.
Yep.
All right, here we go.
Let's
Abdul
take Abdul Carter.
Oh no, he's gone.
Oh, he's gone.
Abdul Carter's would be so sick.
All right.
right,
Wanna,
we
Hey,
gotta hide
Mikael
that.
Williams is still there.
Is he really?
reject.
Yeah.
That's shocking.
Reject.
And Malachi Starks.
James Pierce, who I liked, I would have taken him at 28
But
myself.
Jackson Dart is right there.
Let's
Gotta put
just
some
see real
pressure on
quick
Goff.
where people went. So Shadur Sanders went to the Steelers at 18, and I'll go fast. Oh, Travis Hunter to the Browns. Mason Graham, number 5. Well done, buddy.
Tedero McMillan was at 7, so
Oof.
that's not happening. He's so good, guys.
We were so close.
All right, who do we got that we can pick? Who do you guys want?
I think
Brandon?
Mikael Williams probably.
I think that's the pick.
All right, that's it.
he
Boom.
Alright,
he better
cool.
figure out how to sack the quarterback, though. I'll be so mad at him.
And we're gonna reject
Trade.
Kenneth
Wait a
Grant.
second.
Kenneth Grant
Oh,
is
that's,
there?
That is not
What?
accurate.
There's no shot.
We're at
There's no
pick
shot that
60.
Kenneth Grant is still there.
He's fallen, guys.
There's no
reason.
reason for him to fall. He doesn't have any red flags.
Yeah, he does the gun thing. No, he didn't have a gun thing.
You're thinking of Mozzie Smith.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was Mozzie
he
Smith.
still got drafted pretty high.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been.
All right, well, guys, we are killing this.
We gotta take
I
him,
feel
right?
like that just really wrecked. That's so inaccurate.
Oh boy.
Boy,
Do we
if you
skip
look
it
at the
because-
other names on this, there's no one exciting.
We're taking.
I
Kenneth
mean, if you
Grant.
wanted to do Andrew Makuba, the safety from Texas, that's a guy. But, whew. Man.
There's Makuba.
This got unexciting quick.
No, it got real exciting because Kenneth Grant fell into our laps, guys.
If you
No
wanted your
shot.
X receiver, Elick Aomanor from Stanford is a little down further. He's a guy I really like. He's an athletic freak, and he's known for being the guy that absolutely mossed Colorado cornerback. What's his name?
Hunter.
Yeah, he
Travis Hunter.
mossed Travis Hunter. Had 2 touchdowns on him in their game that I think Colorado lost. Colorado, they didn't win a single big game in their entire time with Sanders
No.
or Hunter. But anyways, Aomanor is an option, apparently. I don't know why we're looking at quarterbacks right now,
We can
Trav.
get the quarterback of the future right here, guys. Quinn Ewers. Just up to you guys.
Quinn
He's
Ewers.
there. He's
Quinn
there.
Ewers looks like he's ranked 125th. That's maybe a cautionary tale for us as we look ahead to Bryce Underwood being a number 1 overall recruit. He is now projected to go in like the 4th round. So
yeah, that's smart.
hopefully we have a little higher trajectory with Bryce Underwood at Michigan. I can't believe Ewers was a 1,000 rated recruit. Literally, that means he was perfect.
That is incredible.
Someone needs to lose their job in the recruiting site. I'm just saying. I mean, I guess you have to take Kenneth Grant, right?
Yeah.
Are
But
we,
I
or are we
just feel like
passing on
that
him?
really ruins this draft because there's no universe where he's available at pick 60.
Should we just pretend that he's taken?
The guy that is actually, I thought maybe we could have gotten was the guy picked directly before at pick 59, Tate Ratledge, to offensive guard Georgia.
JT at 56. That one hurts.
Maybe we got to trade up in round 2, guys.
Trade up for JT, maybe.
Yeah,
I'd be okay with that.
Okay,
depending on what that first round pick
I
is.
want to toss something out to you guys. It's projecting Jalen Milroe at 45. I don't think he goes that high. If you're sitting there in round like
higher.
4, is there any world that you might want to entertain just drafting Jalen Milroe and see what happens? He's the most. He would be the most athletic quarterback in the NFL.
I'm not there.
I think I'm also not there. But if we do that in the later round, if he like falls to round 4, yeah, sure.
What if we just got crazy with science and like combined him into Jared Goff? Like he absorbed him.
Yeah, I'm down for it. I've been listening to Darth Plagueis messing with midichlorians lately and creating life. So I'm all about trying to mold lives together to create
if there's someone
super
with
being.
a midichlorian count higher than Master Yoda, it's what's his name? Milroe. The problem is he doesn't hear him at all. Like he's crazy force sensitive and he doesn't even know it.
He just needs Jared Goff guidance to be his master.
Exactly. He just needs a mentor.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden we've got Josh Allen, but black.
Great.
So are we trading up for Milroe?
No, just draft Kenneth Grant. What are we doing?
Yeah, okay. He's there.
This is the greatest draft ever, guys. Our defensive line is so good now.
Just want to say, year after year, we kill this.
Yeah,
Buffalo.
I don't understand what's so difficult about this.
Gives us the best players.
All right, last pick of round 3. Is this the compensation?
It is
compensatory pick.
Yep, that's the word.
I struggled to get that out.
It's kind of tough.
Don't scroll down too fast. So let's just say hypothetically we don't get Kenneth Grant at pick 60. On this list, you're looking at Ty Robinson is a defensive tackle from Nebraska, who is obviously not as ready to impact the NFL as a Kenneth Grant, but he's a crazy upside guy. He's like 6'5", but only 280, but could definitely like get bigger. You pulled it up. His RAS score 9.89. Like this is a freak, and also a high character guy, and also a guy that is going to be gritty. Aiden Hutchinson, they were always like, oh, he gets all the, those garbage sacks, the second effort, like he didn't win on his first move. He didn't win on his second move, but he got the sack anyways. A garbage pail type guy or lunch pail type guy. Okay, well, those are good qualities. So stop, getting mad at guys for being blue collar. Ty Robinson fits that mold, and I think he would be a good pick there at, what are we at? Pick 102. But no, for the sake of the draft, I probably won't pick him because we somehow got Kenneth Grant.
I don't know. Earlier in this podcast, you said you want to just bolster those trenches.
I do.
Back to back.
Also, the other names on the list round we're picking are not giving me a lot of great feelings.
I think Xavier Estrepo has a chance to be a dark horse of this draft. I just like what he did at Miami.
I like his name.
I love his name. He was pretty good at Miami. I liked what I saw from him in real games. Don't know anything about his measurables. Yeah, look at his RAS score.
Oh no.
He's
That's
5'9".
not supposed to go that low.
Sick pick, Trav.
Hey, I'm not picking him because I thought he was a freak. Sometimes there's guys who fall through the cracks in the draft because they're not freaks, but they're just football freaks, like in mind. And I think he has a chance to be one of those guys. I like him. Not drafting him here, but. So what do you guys want to draft here?
Can you go down a little further?
Yeah.
CJ West, another defensive tackle, could be a dude. Ty Felton, wide receiver. He was the guy at the combine that did that backflip.
Mm-hmm.
No, it wasn't a backflip. It was a barrel roll.
Right, that dude was a freak athlete.
Josiah Stewart. There it is, Trav. Good pick. We did pick our edge in the first round. I would double
now
up,
you got
dude.
a stable of options, though.
I think
Josiah Stewart is a stud.
I agree. I think underrated.
He's not big enough. He's only 6'1". People hate that about him.
Yeah, but when you're a dog,
he's a dog for sure.
He doesn't have to be your every down guy either, because we already got our edge. So you bring him in for special packages just to cause havoc with his speed.
Jalen Reed from Penn State at safety, he would be a decent pick there too. Travis is circling Quinn Ewers for the audio listeners only.
That's why I was doing it, not saying I was doing it. I was saving them from having to go through that again.
All right, Trav.
Just do it, Trav. We know you want to.
You're kind of harping on the quarterback. If they were to draft a quarterback somewhere, who would you hope it would be?
5th round or later. I'm gonna get roasted so hard for this.
Good.
I don't hate Quinn Ewers.
5th round, that's not a bad time to,
Yeah, nothing before that. If we're going before that, I liked your pick in your earlier mock, brand of Jackson Dart.
He fell to pick like 60 for me, and I was like, all right.
He's likable. I think he's got a pretty decent ceiling. Milroe, like you said, would be fun, but living in Indianapolis now, I'm seeing what it's like to have a fun quarterback who also can't throw it great.
What if he was a package quarterback?
If they could draw up plays like that, then
give him 10 plays a game, and I mean, only a handful of them have to actually be passes. Like,
give him the Alex Orgy,
really
successful
package. Run game just with the fact that Milroe would do a fake handoff and then bootleg himself and then run 20 yards. Like, the guy is faster than most of the running backs in the NFL.
Code, do you have a choice for this pick? I know where I'm leaning, but
I think it's got to be Josiah Stewart.
That's where I'm leaning.
I love Josiah Stewart.
All right, pulling trig. I mean, throwing a grenade. Sorry, Ja.
So, our trenches on the defensive line are looking so good.
Hey, look who it is right there.
Beefed up.
Let's get a third edge.
I love the
Jack Sawyer's right there.
He's been mocked to the Lions quite a bit lately.
Yeah, I don't love it. I think he could do it, but I like the two top names there are both guys at positions of need.
Jalen Reed.
Oh, there's even more guys.
Ty Robinson is still
available.
More trenches.
Oh man. I think I still maybe would put my vote on either Fairchild or Reed because we need those positions. But
the way that playoffs ended last year with our defense decimated, and I know the Commanders.
Whoa, Trav.
Whoa. A great offense. But I'm okay with every pick of this draft as a defensive player.
If you draft Ty Robinson, does that mean that we have to cut what's his face that Holmes drafted? He traded up massively for, and he has yet to play for us.
Maybe.
What's his name? That was the first of Brad Holmes. I was like, oh, that one.
Was that Mackay?
No, not him. I'll find it.
Who am I?
Well, Brian, if safety is a need, I do like Jalen Reed from Penn State. Yeah. You're a big RAS score guy, sitting there at 9.
Well, and the thing is, I don't know that this is the right way to view it, but certain schools put out positions. So, like, Michigan puts out D-line. Ohio State tends to put out receivers and cornerbacks. Penn State puts out safeties. Like, they just do. So I like that he's a Penn Stater. I like that he's athletic. And I think that he could definitely be a contributor for us this late in the draft. I love that pick.
Jalen Reed. Good with the code?
By the way, that player I was referring to, Broderick Martin.
Broderick. Yeah, that's who it was.
Currently our 4th string left defensive tackle.
Didn't he have like a negative RAS score?
Yeah, he was really bad on that. He
That
played
was a head
for
scratcher.
like Western Kentucky or something like that, and he didn't even make honorable mention Conference USA. Like, he wasn't even good in college. We gave up a lot to trade up to get him, and now he's behind Roy Lopez on the depth chart.
All right, Jalen Reed at pick 130.
I love it.
All right, doing it.
Let's make our defense good.
I love that.
He's no
while this
McMillan,
is uploading, the Pistons are up by 6 with 4.5 minutes left. They were up. It's been getting cut down closer and closer. So
there's a really
let's keep this
name.
moving. I want to see that.
Kyle McCord.
Kyle McCord.
I'm serious. That's interesting to me.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it
for
either.
the record, I just want to put this out there. Kyle McCord was disgracefully kicked out of Ohio State, basically. They're like, get out of town. Kyle McCord had a better regular season record than Will Howard.
Mm-hmm.
It just so happens that they expanded the playoff this year. So I don't want to hear it too much. I mean, Kyle McCord, I'm not going to say he's great. He's also
he had a very good year at Syracuse.
He had a great year for Syracuse. He's got the same problem that Jared Goff has, is that he's not a play extender. So anyone looking for someone to maybe improve on that area that Goff doesn't have. Ooh, Jay Higgins. Sorry. Done talking about Kyle McCord. Jay Higgins. Bad RAS score, but he's a linebacker that he literally gets every tackle possible. I think he was close to possibly breaking the tackle record. All right, we're just moving on.
Yeah, we're in round 6. That's enough for me.
I'll talk about Jay Higgins all day. That's an Iowa linebacker, for those wondering. And he's
love
a
good Iowa linebacker.
Also, Anzalone is not gonna last forever, so we need more linebackers.
Curtis Rourke.
Not seeing a lot of names I love in the 7th round. Could we
want to go by position?
No, just back to the top. I kind of didn't see all those names. If we needed defensive tackle, I actually like Vernon Broughton, but no, we don't need that position.
Adam.
Are you serious? All right.
No.
All right, that's fine. Don't know those guys. Don't need running back. No. So what position do we need? We might need to go by position.
Offensive, O-line, quarterback,
we didn't get a guard,
safety.
did we?
No, we didn't.
Let's go guard, and then if we don't love someone,
quality this far deep,
go center.
I love a good Minnesota guard. Western Michigan.
That's ranked 334. Let's go to center, though. See what we can find there. If you're a decent center, you can play guard. Don't love any of these guys. Offensive tackle? Someone who could kick in, maybe? They are taken completely.
We might have screwed up.
No, we didn't. I love it.
All right. Keep going, Trav. Cody's guy, Max Brosmer. Let's go back to defense. Let's just finish out on defense, baby.
He was out there trying his hardest.
Vernon Broughton is a guy that we like, but let's
Zeke
go
Biggers
to...
has a great name. Mello Dotson, very cool name as well.
Yeah, we did pretty good, actually, on defense. Let's get Vernon Broughton, and let's cut Let's
Giovanni Manu.
No,
Or not Manu.
Giovanni is on
I
offense.
keep saying the wrong name. Not
Broderick
Giovanni.
Martin. Yeah,
Broderick
he's gone.
Martin. I don't know why I keep saying that.
All right. I want to go another Iowa safety.
Oh, we've got another pick?
Yeah.
I thought that was our last one.
Round 7.
Okay. Boy, I don't know any of these guys.
Yeah,
Let's
we're
take
deep.
a flyer on a safety or cornerback.
Okay,
Iowa
then
produces.
We already got a safety, though, didn't we? Let's go corner. Get Jabbar Muhammad down a little bit. He's a corner. We don't need corners. What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't love that, but we're deep at this point.
There we go. There it is.
This is a new defense, guys.
Sheesh.
The all defensive draft. Really needed to get a guard.
We got 2 edges, 2 defensive tackles, a safety, a cornerback, and a linebacker. I love it.
The
for the audio listeners, we go back to that real quick because they should probably be able to actually hear who we got. Did you close it?
Just the sharing.
Okay, can you just read who we got then?
I will share.
We don't need to see
again.
it. Travel read it.
Go for it, bro.
Okay. We got, with our 28th pick, Mikael Williams, edge, Georgia. Then Kenneth Grant slid to number 60.
As we all predicted.
Get your hopes up. That's happening.
And Josiah Stewart at 102. If those first three picks were an indicator of how this would go, I'd have been stoked. Then we might have fallen off a little bit. Although Jalen Reed,
that's a
safety,
good pick.
Good pick.
That's a solid pick.
Then Jay Higgins, Brandon liked him too. So maybe we only fumbled with the 6th and 7th round picks, which is whatever.
We'll trade those away. Don't worry.
We got Vernon Broughton, defensive tackle, and Jabbar Muhammad, cornerback from Oregon. Love it.
I don't hate it. That's a pretty strong start.
We'll have to start brushing up on 6th and 7th round guards.
We got a week.
Doesn't really matter because all those guys will be on IR by week 12. But
it's true.
Not bad, gents. Not bad at all.
Well, there's 3 minutes to go in the Pistons-Knicks game. Pistons are up by 4. So, wrap us up, Code. Take it home with the Pistons.
Yeah. So, exciting stuff happening in the D. Glad you guys could join us to recount some of it. I'd love to hear your guys' draft crushes and some of your, bombs to avoid in the draft. Hit us up in the Discord. Give us your mailbag questions. We love hearing from you guys. And we love having you join us on another episode of the Joe League for Sports podcast. So thanks for being here, and we'll catch you in the next one.